So we're going to incorporate Bootstrap to our simple activity. But before that, we're going to create a new file, and let's name it as variable.php. Then we have to search for Bootstrap so that we can go directly to the site where we can, of course, download something from there. So go to examples and select the kind of layout which you want to mimic to your site. For example, we have this one. Then you have to just select right click, view page source, and then we just have to copy all of it and go to your editor, paste it, and then you select save. Once you save it, in order for us to see what it looks like, for now you type localhost and then the name of your folder in htdocs. So in our case we have the PHP beginners, and then the name of your file, which is var.php. Okay, so as you can see, this site cannot be reached. It's because we haven't started SAMP yet. So select Apache and MySQL and then refresh. Okay, so as of now, this is how our design looks like. So it's a mess. It's because we did not link it properly. So you go to brackets again, and then let's try to look for the problem. I mean, you go to your site, and then you can inspect element through selecting F12, or you right click and then inspect element. Okay, so you can select for the kind of element which you think you get a problem on, and then you can specifically look for it. For in our case, we are looking for the specific document, but since we haven't downloaded Bootstrap document, we are going to link it online. So we're going to look for it at, of course, bootstrap.com. So just like here in our example, so our reference tells us that it needs to look for a folder document somewhere in our system, but we do not have that. So instead, we're going to link it somewhere online. So again, go to bootstrap.com, and we're going to look for the CSS source there. We're going to copy the link. Okay, so all of it, just select copy, and we're going to just comment this one. We may be needing it in the future, and paste. Okay, save. And now we have the design which we desired. So now we can start coding. Okay, so now let's proceed to our topic, variables. So as we all know, even in our previous topics or previous programming languages that we have learned, we all know that variables are just containers for storing an information. And in PHP, a variable starts with a $sign. This is what we always have to remember. In PHP, a variable starts with a $sign, and then it's followed by the name of the variable. For example, variable text, and the value is a string hello world. Variable x, and the value is integer 5. Variable y, and the value is a floating point number, which is 10.5. Okay, so this is how it would look like if we're going to run our simple PHP code. So text hello world, and then value of x is 5, and value of y is 10.5. So if we are going to put a different variable name here, for example this one, and then we have to run it, so as you can see, it did not produce an output. It's because it's looking for a variable bb, and we are trying to echo something which is not a bb. So we're going to change this one into the correct variable name. Okay, and supposing if we're going to change hello world into hello bsis, how are you, something. So it will also change whenever we want to echo the variable name, which is text. Okay, because we all know that variables are just containers of a value, and they change whenever there are changes on the values as well. Okay, and after the execution of the statement, the variable text will hold the value hello world and so on. Note, when you assign a text to a variable, put quotes around the value. Okay, because it will treat it as a string. Okay, so there is a syntax error. It's because it doesn't know what kind of data type this is, because it is not enclosed in a string. So strings should be enclosed in a quote or in quotations. Okay, so that is also one thing we need to remember. Okay, unlike other programming languages, PHP has no command for declaring a variable. It is created the moment you first assign a value to it. Okay, a variable can have a short name like x or y, or a more descriptive name like an age, a car name, a total, or a volume. Rules: a variable starts with a $sign followed by the name of the variable. A variable name must start with a letter or an underscore character. Again, remember, we have to write our variable name or type our variable name with $sign followed by a variable name which is composed of letters, of a letter or an underscore, not a number or any other symbols. A variable name cannot start with a number. This is very explicit. It cannot start with a number. A variable name can only contain alphanumeric, meaning that is letters and numbers, and underscores, A to Z, 0 to 9, and an underscore. Variable names are case sensitive. Age and age are two different variables. So we're going to call text in capital letters. Let's try if it will run or it will disregard it. Okay, so again, it does not read text as text. But again, so some keywords, some functions, they can be in capital letters, or in any case it's because they are not case sensitive. Okay. Okay, the output variables. PHP echo statement is often used to output data to the screen. So example is this one. Okay, so we already know how it works, and the following example will produce the same output as the example above. Okay, so in here we created a variable text which is in a form of a string, right? And then we echoed I love and the name of the text, like this one. Okay, so we only echoed text. right? So we said echo text, so it will only echo W3 schools. But if we put some other text in here, like echo I love, oh, wrong. I love W3 schools, or I love this IS. Okay, so you have some characters here plus your variable, and it would also produce the same output as this one. This is concatenation. Okay, so I'm going to just copy this one. So instead of writing it in a single line, we're going to concatenate it. For example, our variable is w3schools.com. I love. Okay. So I love, it's because we did not call text, remember. So now we're going to call the variable text. So I love W3 schools, but we can also write it the other way around. So we use concatenation symbol and the name of the variable. Okay, so it will also produce the same result. Okay, so you can put it outside of the string, you can put the variable outside of the string, only that you have to provide the concatenation operator, or you can put it inside of the string. Anyway, it will just produce the same output. Okay, and also another one. So how we sum up variables. Okay, so of course we're going to use again some of the operators, such as like we need to multiply this 1, 5, and 10. Okay, run. Okay, so that's 10 variable x times variable y, which is 4, is equal to 40. So these are just basic applications of the use of variables. And also in some other examples, supposing we're going to use the template which we have created a while ago. Okay, so it is this one. Okay, so let's go to Bootstrap and save and refresh. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a simple paragraph here, like the story of Snow White, or any story that you like. Okay, supposing I have here the story of Snow White. Okay, I'm just going to copy this one, go to your HTML file, and it's in here. So you would know which part of the document you are. If you look at it, this part is use this document as a way to quickly start your new project. So you look for it in your document and you can find it here in this paragraph. This paragraph tells us that this part, and this is break, and all you get is something something here. This part is this part in your browser. Okay, so what we want is we're going to add another, this is another division, because this is one division. Okay, so we want to add another division, so we type div. A division is just like something that separates one element of HTML with another element. So that is how your division looks like. So I also want you to install pesticide. Oh, sorry, pesticide. No, not pesticides, just pesticide. Okay, so if you have your laptops, please install this one so that it would be easier for you to debug your problems. I mean, to debug when you experience trouble with CSS. Because in my case here, okay, so pesticide. So as you can see, it will give you some guides. Okay, that this is a navigation, and this part is one div, and in that div, I created another div here, and I want to have one paragraph. Sorry, that's P. Okay, and I'm going to put my story here and click save and refresh. So this is okay. So it tells me that this is one div. This is also another div. Okay. So this time we're going to apply our knowledge about variables in this simple story. For example, so let me just put an H1 here, and let's type the title, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Okay, and click save, and okay, so we have now our title. So this time we do not want Snow White as the name of our princess, so we are going to change the name Snow White, but we want to change Snow White here and Snow White here and all the Snow Whites that we can see in this paragraph. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable. So we're going to put our PHP scripts here. Okay, and then close. Okay, so we're going to create our variable. So we're going to call it princess name. And our princess will be Raleigh, for example. This is just for fun, or Ken, or whoever. Okay, supposing we're going to name our princess Raleigh. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to look for all the Snow Whites that we can find in the paragraph, and we're going to change it to Raleigh. Okay, so how we're going to do that? You select Control H, and we are going to look for all Snow Whites. Okay, and once it has selected all Snow Whites, we're going to replace it with something. We want it to be replaced with what our variable name or what our variable name's value is. So in our example now, the name is Rolly, but we want to call the variable name. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to write the PHP tags echo. So we're going to echo, meaning we need to output the princess name, and then terminate it, and then close PHP tags, and select replace all. Okay, so as you can see, all the Snow Whites here are being replaced with our PHP script, because anytime we want to change the name of our princess, we can change it here. Okay, so let's save it and refresh. Okay, so we have now a different princess, and the name of the princess is Raleigh. So one day, the wish of the good-hearted queen came true, as she had a beautiful baby girl. They named her Raleigh. Okay, and we do not want dwarves. We want like puppies. Instead of dwarves, we want to have puppies. Okay, so creature Instead of dwarves, we're going to change it into puppies. Okay, and save. And again, Control H. And we're going to look for dwarves. Okay, and we're going to replace it with, again, the name of our variable. PHP echo, the name of our variable, which is creature something. What was that? Creature, just creature. And then close PHP. Then replace all. Okay, save. Okay, really, and the 7 puppies. Okay, so okay, so the use of the variables again is that if you want to change something, especially if you are a content writer or if you are a story bedtime story writer, it would be difficult for you to change all those names if you have written it like a million times already. So the use of the variables would be very, very useful in this case, for example. Okay, so that's it for a simple use of variables. But again, variables will be used all the time, especially with programming. Okay.